movies don't just scare you, but they get under your skin. Twisted, relentless, and evil to the core, each one drags you into darkness you can't unsee. These 10 hidden horror films will ruin your night and stay with you long after the credits roll. Number 10. Calvaire. Mark, a traveling singer, breaks down in the wrong place at the worst possible time. A remote, rain-soaked village where kindness masks something deeply deranged. Taken in by a seemingly helpful innkeeper, Mark quickly realizes he's not a guest, but he's a replacement. Directed by Fabrice Duvels, Calvaire is a slow, simmering descent into psychological horror, isolation, and rural madness, where the line between human and beast is disturbingly thin. The villagers' twisted hospitality mutates into religious obsession and violent delusion, smothering every flicker of sanity. Number 9. Maniac. Frank isn't just lonely, he's broken, hiding a monstrous appetite behind a quiet stare in a mannequin shop window. Directed by Frank Calvaire and told almost entirely from Frank's point of view, Maniac drags you inside the killer's warped mind as he stalks, scalps, and spirals deeper into madness. Elijah Wood delivers a hauntingly subdued performance, turning boyish charm into something sickly and cold. The film's first-person perspective turns the audience into an unwilling accomplice, forcing you to see through the eyes of a predator. Number 8. Frontiers. When a group of young criminals flees Paris riots, they think the worst is behind them, until they stumble upon a rural inn run by neo-Nazi cannibals. Directed by Xavier Gens, Frontiers is a brutal, blood-soaked descent into sadism, set in a labyrinth of tunnels, butcher rooms, and human cages. The violence is relentless, the tension unbearable, and the depravity knows no bottom. It's a war zone of flesh and fear where ideology feeds on innocence and no one escapes clean. Number 7. Eel. Lucas and Clementine are young, in love and alone in a sprawling country home deep in the Romanian woods. But as night falls, a strange noise stirs in the darkness and it doesn't stop. Directed by David Moreau, Eel builds terror through isolation, silence, and sheer dread, unfolding with a suffocating tension that never lets go. The couple becomes prey in their own home, stalked by unseen assailants who never speak, never show their faces, and never stop coming. Every hallway becomes a trap, every shadow a threat, until reality fractures under pure fear. Based loosely on horrifying real events, this is not just a home invasion, but it's psychological warfare in the pitch black. Number 6. The Last House on the Left. No! When Mari and her friends stumble into the hands of sadistic fugitives, what begins as a casual evening spirals into a savage nightmare. Directed by Dennis Iliadis, this harrowing remake of Wes Craven's original drips with dread, vengeance, and moral decay. The girls are brutalized and left for dead, but fate delivers the monsters straight into the home of Mari's grieving parents. What follows is a slow burn explosion of righteous fury, as grief transforms into raw, violent revenge. The horror here is human, and that's what makes it unbearable. Number 5. Chained. Nine-year-old Tim's life is stolen in an instant when he and his mother get into the wrong cab. She vanishes, but Tim doesn't. Instead, he's imprisoned by Bob, a cab-driving serial killer who chains him like an animal and renames him Rabbit. Directed by Jennifer Lynch, Chained is a grim, slow-burn psychological horror that explores the twisted bond between captor and captive. As years pass, the boy becomes a teenager molded in fear and brutality, forced to clean up after murder and learn the rules of a broken mind. But the real horror isn't the violence. It's wondering what kind of man Rabbit will become. Number 4. Inside. Sarah is 9 months pregnant, grieving and alone in her quiet suburban home on Christmas Eve. But someone is watching, and she wants the baby. Directed by Julien Maury, Inside is a relentless French extremity masterpiece, trapping viewers in a blood-soaked siege that doesn't flinch. When the mysterious woman breaks in, there's no escape. Just a brutal, claustrophobic battle for survival that unfolds over one agonizing night. Razor-sharp scissors, shattered glass, and primal screams fill the air as Sarah fights not just for her life, but for the child still inside her. Number 3. Eden Lake.
No! No!
A romantic weekend getaway turns into a merciless hunt when Jenny and Steve take a wrong turn into the English countryside. What begins as an uneasy encounter with a group of local teens escalates into a sadistic nightmare. Directed by James Watkins, Eden Lake is a brutal collision of survival horror and social terror, where the line between civilization and savagery disintegrates with every scream. The forest becomes a trap, the children become monsters, and hope is swallowed by unrelenting cruelty. There are no ghosts, just real people, real rage, and real consequences. Number 2. High Tension. Best friends Marie and Alex set off for a quiet weekend at a country house, but the peace is shattered when a brutal intruder breaks in, turning the night into a blood-soaked massacre. Directed by Alexandra Aja, High Tension lives up to its name with relentless pacing, savage kills, and a suffocating sense of dread. Told through the eyes of Marie, the film barrels through a night of chaos, fear, and deadly cat-and-mouse games in isolated farmlands. But nothing is as it seems, and the final act delivers a gut-punch twist that reframes everything in the most disturbing way. Number 1. The Skin I Live In. In a sleek mansion hidden from the world, a brilliant but unhinged surgeon plays God with flesh and identity. Antonio Banderas stars as Dr. Robert Ledgard in Pedro Almodovar's haunting tale of obsession, revenge, and transformation. After a personal tragedy, Ledgard creates a synthetic skin and tests it on a mysterious captive woman named Vera. But nothing about her is what it seems. The Skin I Live In blends psychological horror and surgical body horror into a twisted modern Frankenstein where beauty hides terror, and every layer of skin conceals something darker. Here are 3 other movies worth watching. The Woman. A feral woman is captured by a seemingly normal family man who chains her in his basement, hoping to civilize her. But the true savagery lies not in the wild, but behind his suburban smile. The Woman is a vicious, uncomfortable descent into domestic horror and primal vengeance. Wolf Creek.
Never know where I might pop up.
3 backpackers venture into the vast Australian outback, where a friendly local mechanic turns out to be their worst nightmare. Inspired by true events, Wolf Creek is a slow-burning terror that erupts into brutal survival horror. The landscape is endless, but there's nowhere to hide teeth.
Are you afraid?
Dawn discovers her body holds a deadly secret, something ancient, primal, and sharp. Teeth is a darkly satirical body horror that turns coming of age into a razor-edged nightmare. Some monsters are born and others bite back.
Tell her everything's gonna be okay. Tell her help's on the way. Tell her it's not as bad as it looks.